The updated 2025 Hyundai Tucson daytime running light, the updated front fascia. The US version of Hyundai Tucson is long wheelbase, 235 by 55, 19-inch. It's a combination of multi-port injection and direct injection, 13-inch screens. Car starts from around $30,000 on throttle time. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to my channel Roman Rides, and today I'm sharing my quick review and a test drive of the updated 2025 Hyundai Tucson. And this specific car is Hyundai Tucson Limited 2025 all-wheel drive. Let's go! Alright, finally I have driven this car, so you will see the driving portion of this video in just about a few minutes. But before we do that, I just wanted to show you some highlights of this 2025. So the Hyundai Tucson has been on the market for like around almost 4 years, like full 4 calendar years. So now it's time to update this car. And basically what Hyundai did, Kia Hyundai concern, what they did, they updated the 2025 Hyundai Tucson, and so they refreshed the front part of the car. So now we can see the updated daytime running light, the updated front fascia, the updated bumpers, and so slightly updated air inducts, so air inputs here, air vents, and yeah, and overall the new design of the wheels, as well as the few more options available as standard, and the major updates are in the cabin as well. But before we do that, let me show you this car in full length with lights on, hazard lights on. And I have to say that the US version of Hyundai Tucson is long wheelbase. Unlike the European versions, they have like a regular standard, or as we call here in the US, like a short wheelbase modification here. So the US spec obviously is larger. So as you can see, it's a beautiful white color. It's a projector style LED lights. As you can see, obviously the headlights assembly here is located in the bumper in the lower part of the car. So what you see here is your turn signal, the blinker, as well as the daytime running lights available here. So if I turn the flashers off, you will see that daytime running lights will take the spot here, as you can see. So now it's just the DRL, and as you can see, it's 4 lenses here. So 2 of them for low beam headlights and 2 of them for high beam headlights. And as you can see, we have parking sensors available here, 360 camera because this is the limited trim. We have a satin chrome grille here, and we have openings for cooling the radiators and all that stuff. And we have some functional openings here to make sure that aerodynamics of this car doesn't get any heat, so that you have nice fuel efficiency. So checking the profile of the car, you see we have new designer wheels. This is wrapped in Michelin Primacy AS. So it's all season 235 by 55, 19-inch wheels, alloy wheels. And as you can see, regular McPherson struts up front, and we have a multi-link in the back. And as we can see from design standpoint, I think the car is really looking great. It grew on me. I would say initially when the car was presented a few years ago, it was slightly controversial design, especially the front fascia of the car, but now I think it has grown on me. Yeah, I can say that. And the rear part, basically it hasn't changed. So obviously the new logo is now here. And then the Tucson script and H-track, which means all-wheel drive. Obviously there is no like central differential. There is like a clutch pack located right before the front axle. This is how you enable your front-wheel drive. And you have the towing hitch available here. It's a manufacturer option. Yeah, and we have parking sensors, and that's about it. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this car, about the refresh? And so Hyundai decided to keep this design element here for the C-pillar, or D-pillar I should say. And this limited trim is also, as you can see, you don't have like a regular chrome moldings here around the windows. It looks kind of like a satin mold, a satin chrome. It's not like complete like a regular classic chrome. And you have black roof rails, and you have the panoramic sunroof which you can actually open. So we see cameras for 360 cameras, you have heads-up display. I think it's time to talk about the engine specs now. So let me shut the car off. No, we don't have hood struts. So this is 2.5 natural aspirated GDI. GDI, I have to say that it's a combination of multi-port injection and direct injection. So it's not just GDI. So this is a family of Smart Stream engines, how Hyundai calls it, as you can see. Smart Stream technology, G 2.5, G stands for gasoline, 2.5 for the displacement of this engine, 2.5 combines again multi-port and direct port. So you shouldn't be too much worried about carbon buildup on your intake valve. So I think this should alleviate this problem. And that's why you can add like a regular 87 octane gas here. Another option would be, obviously no diesels available here in the US. Another option will be two versions of the hybrid. Both are based on the 1.6 turbocharged engines with direct injection plus electric motors. So one version is a regular hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid, producing 230 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. Another version features almost 14 kilowatt hours battery underneath the rear seats. And so that's plug-in hybrid, which you can drive purely electric mode for around 30 miles, and that engine has a slightly higher output of 260 horsepower. And they're both mated to 6-speed automatic, while this one, 2.5 natural aspirates, mated to 8-speed automatic transmission developed in-house by Hyundai. As you can see, recommended oil SAE 0W20. So yeah, it's very thin oil, I would say. And yeah, that's about it in terms of technical specs. As I mentioned, front suspension is regular McPherson struts, and rear suspension is multi-link. As you can see, the sticker says 2025 Tucson Limited all-wheel drive. But actually, I'll get back to the price about this car. So you see comfort access, so the seats goes backwards so that it is easier for you to get into the car. We don't see any power folding mirrors, unfortunately, so just a regular mirror control. So let me take a look if we have all automatic windows. Let me start up the car. Yep. No, they're not fully automatic, unfortunately. So only front windows have fully automatic up and down function. So as we can see, it's a two-tone interior color. So you have very, light central part, like almost like a white central part, plus different layers here. So you can see it's leather red here, it's plastic here. It's like a sandwich panel. The door trim is like a sandwich panel. So plastic, leather red, two options to have your memory seats, and then it's a fabric. So the fabric inserts available here, the door handle, and this is a piano black. I mean, it's not the best idea actually, because a lot of hand traffic here, so you have to take a look at this car and take care, maybe wipe it off with some wipes. And again, you have leatherette and stitching here, so you see some bottle holders available here. So on the left side you have your gauges dimming, so you can dim it in and dim out. You have your traction control and electronic parking brake. So the new for 2025 actually is that this multimedia system, because this is the limited trim, we have both like almost 12.5 or 13-inch screens, and they are housed under the same display here. So as you can see, but you don't have any hood here, so obviously there are some glaring here coming from the sun. And so I can cycle through different information here, your tire pressure, your routes, and then I can go down, your trip information, your speedometer, digital speedometer is here, your odometer, not the odometer, your tachometer on the right. So yeah, very minimal, and the black style digital gauge cluster, I really like that. So the infotainment multimedia management is located here in the right spoke. Your volume control, your modes control, where the music is coming from, whether it's a Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. On the left you have your lane keep assist, you have adaptive cruise control, and you have paddle shifter for 8-speed automatic transmission. And this part here allows you to drive it on a highway without hands on the wheel, but not forever, obviously. So you will be able to drive maybe a few miles before the car will ask you to to make sure that you're paying attention to the road. So you have automatic high-low beams, you have rain sensing wipers, and so the multimedia system itself is very familiar if you're familiar with other Hyundai and Kia products. So sorry for additional glare here. So you have built-in navigation and setups, different setups. So it got wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. Hyundai Pay is available as well, HD radio. So it has a Wi-Fi hotspot available here. So coming in down here, you see this block has been completely changed. So before the facelift, your heated and ventilated seats buttons were located here in the central console, but now everything located is here. So as you can see, we have dual zone climate control, we have heated steering wheel, we have heated and ventilated seats, and everything else, I mean, you can navigate and manage here. It's not physical buttons, but at the same time, you don't have to go all the way to the main infotainment system in order to enable your heated or ventilated seats or heated steering wheel, for example. You have two USB Type-Cs. One is just a regular one is for data transfer, and you have also a cigarette style outlet. You have some room and storage available here, and then your drive mode selector is available here. Your axle lock is available here, so you can, by shifting it, by clicking this button, you can lock the clutch pack in the back so that you will have 50-50 split between front wheels and rear wheels, because it's all-wheel drive. Your auto hold, your start stop, defeat button, your your hill descent control, and camera system. So take a look at the camera system close. And so yeah, the resolution is decent. I would say it's not the best in the class, but obviously it's decent. Sorry for additional sun glare. And you have different options here, like this 360 camera, so you can do like this. Yeah, the resolution and how snappy it works is just amazes me. Very nice. And you have parking sensors, defeat, 2 cup holders, wireless phone charger available here, small cubby here, but it's very deep actually. And the seats themselves, they're perforated obviously, and I really like how they look, and they're very comfortable because I have already driven this car. Your rear view mirror, regular, and your panoramic sunroof, so you can open this front part as well to the second row and to feel how much space and how much room we have, because this is a long wheelbase version, so it's not a European version. And you can also recline the seats. So the seat can be reclined. It's a very nice option. You can recline it all the way back. Take a look at me. So you can also almost, you can lie down here. So very nice. A lot of knee room, a lot of headroom, even though you have panoramic sunroof. And I really like this combination, this, gray or white leather and white outside color, white exterior color, and the door trim combination of materials continues here as well. Very nice. But at the same time, now the plastic is hard, unlike the front door trims, which are soft touch plastic. So you have AC vents and 2 USB Type-C. You have map pockets available on both seats, and you have central armrest with 2 cup holders. Yeah, I mean, it's extremely spacious here in the back. So there is more space than even Toyota RAV4, for example. Now it's time to take a look at the cargo compartment. So the cargo compartment depends on how your rear seats are reclined. So you can fold them completely, fold them flat, and you can see it's just enormous area here. Everything is plastic. You have your temporary spare tire, and yeah, that's about it. You have a cigarette style outlet here, and obviously you have the cargo cover, but cargo cover was taken by the dealer, so you can see almost flat floor, so almost no steps here. If you put down the that part of the seats though, you will have almost the flat floor, and you can put here like a fridge, small fridge, and a washer and dryer. The pricing for the top trim Tucson Limited non-hybrid, $42,655. So no markups here. It's a Hyundai and Genesis Fitzgerald located in Clearwater, Florida. So this is the sticker. As you can see, in terms of the warranty, it is 3-year It is 5 years, 60,000 mile new vehicle warranty from bumper to bumper. 5 years to 60,000 miles, and 10 years and 100,000 miles for powertrain. So 10 years or 100,000 miles. It is just a lot. And as I know, I mean, Kia and Hyundai, they offer the best bumper to bumper factory warranty. You have unlimited mile roadside assistance for 5 years, and obviously the host of driver assistant features, and so the total price. But the car starts from around $30,000 and up to like 42, 43. And if you're talking about hybrid models, obviously they're more expensive. But if you don't need a hybrid model, you can go with just a gas only. And so the final assembly is Alabama, USA. Engine is coming from USA, transmissions from USA. So everything is assembled here in the USA. So I think it's time to take it for a quick test drive, and then we'll sum it up. All right, it's time to take this 2025 Hyundai Tucson for a quick test drive. The dealership is Fitzgerald Hyundai and Genesis, located here in Clearwater. So my first impressions on this car, the first thoughts on that is that I have just driven over rough pavement. So as you can see, the construction is underway. And so what I noticed immediately that the suspension is softly sprung. It's not that soft. There's no like boaty feel to this car. It doesn't feel like the same way as Toyota RAV4, for example. So it's closer to like, let's say, Honda CR-V in that regard. And I have already driven this car, so this is not the first time I'm driving this on camera. I have driven it before I started recording, and what I noticed really is the suspension there's a great balance. So it's not like a boat on the road. At the same time, it's not on the firmer side. So Hyundai actually found a great balance between, being softly sprung. At the same time, there is a good feeling about the steering wheel. The steering wheel is relatively precise, and you know where your wheels are and where they turn to. So this is what really makes me confident in driving this car. The throttle input, the steering input, the throttle input is very linear, is very predictable and expected. So there are no surprises, there are no jerks in transmission. This is a regular 8-speed automatic developed in-house transmission for Hyundai and Kia products, as well as Genesis. And so the calibration of the transmission is just great. We're currently driving in a sport mode, and still there are no jerks, no harsh upshifts or downshifts. So let me switch back to normal. Yep, so I have switched back to normal. And obviously this car does not feature adaptive suspension, so you shouldn't expect that much difference. So the only difference is that the throttle input now is even more linear than it was before in the sport mode. What I also really like about this car is that the heads-up display shows your speed, your lane keep assist, it shows the road sign recognition. So all different road signs like stop sign, yield sign, your speed limit, as well as the merging lanes and crosswalks, pedestrian crosswalks. So it's all displayed in the heads-up display, which I found extremely useful, and the quality of image is really good. At the same time, on top of that, you have the blind spot monitoring symbols depicted and projected onto the screen, onto the heads-up display. So not only do you have the blind spot monitoring zone, which is being shown in a real mode, in real time, when you put your turn signal left or right, it is shown, the video, the footage is shown in your digital gauge cluster. So that helps you if you keep monitoring your digital gauge cluster. On top of that, you have the blind spot monitoring symbols showing where the car in the blind spot zone on the left or on the right. It's also being shown and projected to the heads-up display. And so the car also knows the maps, so the navigation information is being projected onto the heads-up display as well. So before you even come in to a stop, like this for example here, so this stop sign was already shown like 30 seconds ago, like 20-30 seconds ago. So the car integrates the information coming from navigation. Obviously, if you're in the area which is covered by the maps, by the navigation, it's been recognized, then you will get this information projected onto the windshield, onto the heads-up display. So a lot of features, a lot of very, very useful features, especially during, city driving. So, and back to the suspension comfort. Obviously, the asphalt, the pavement here is just great. No complaints about that. But there are some small imperfections, and when going over those imperfections, you don't feel anything. So the road noise is extremely minimal. You'll just hear some small amount of oncoming wind. So the wind noise is something expected. Other than that, I don't see anything from wheel wells. So wheel wells are greatly isolated. The sitting comfort, I really find it comfortable to sit here, especially I'm talking about cushions, about the cushions part of the seat, right? So I'm 6.2 tall, and I find it really comfortable to sit here, even though there are no additional, under thigh extender or bolster for your size. Still, you have plenty of cushion area to support your legs, which I found really, really very comfortable comparing to Hyundai CR-V, for example. So my complaint, probably, I don't know whether you have already watched that video or not. I recently test drove the Hyundai CR-V 2024, and so my only complaint was that the seats, the cushion part of the seat was really shorter, on the shorter side. So here, like, no problem at all. So the sitting comfort is great. The sound insulation, so there is really not much NVH coming into the cabin. So you will really appreciate this car. Yeah, the engine itself, it is very smooth, and the power delivery is very linear and predicted, as I have mentioned. The transmission is very smooth. There are no jerks during upshifts and downshifts, and you will really appreciate the level of comfort here. And so there are no squeaks, no rattles, no squeaky sounds, because like I recently tested Mercedes-Benz, and I was really surprised that GLE 450 for $90,000 had some rattles and squeaks already. All right, on throttle time. Yeah, and obviously this is the new car, and the transmission has not been adapted yet to your driving style. I'm not gonna, not gonna drive it too hard. So I'm not gonna abuse this car. It's a new car, so I just, just accelerated slightly to 45 miles per hour, which is very nice. Again, very linear, very expected and confident acceleration. 0 to 60 is around 9 seconds, to be honest. So it's kind of on sluggish side, but at the same time, you're not buying this car, to street race or whatever. You buy this car to have a comfortable vehicle, smooth and quiet. That's the main reason you buy this car, right? Yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this video. It's a quick test drive and review of the 2025 refreshed Hyundai Tucson Limited all-wheel drive. So $42,000. Let's start from comparing to some competitors like Toyota RAV4, Nissan Rogue, Honda CR-V, Chevy Equinox, Kia Sportage, but I would not compare to Kia Sportage because basically this is the same brand. So what I really like about this car after driving this car, the suspension is softly sprung. There is a great balance between being a predictable vehicle in terms of steering inputs, in terms of linear transmission, in terms of how transmission and the engine are actually made it together, and the suspension. So the steering input, the throttle input, everything is predictable, everything is expected, in this class of vehicle. So there are no jerks during transmission upshifts and downshifts when coming to a traffic light, for example. So this is what I really like, and it is extremely quiet as well. So the combination of the transmission and engine, it's a highlight of this vehicle. The seats are really comfortable. I really like that the cushion part of the seat is long enough for tall drivers. I'm 6.2 and I find it extremely comfortable, even though we don't have like a dedicated under thigh support or bolsters. In terms of bolsters, they are nicely bolstered as well. Not the best in the class, but overall, I really like the engine 2.5, the base engine, the base configuration, and 8-speed transmission. Obviously, it's not the best in class in terms of 0 to 60 time. So it's around like 9 seconds, which is like more than enough, more than adequate for city driving and highway driving as well. If you want to have a more like a peppier vehicle, probably makes sense to buy a hybrid. So there will be around 230, 35 horsepower for regular hybrid and 260 for a plug-in hybrid, which also will bring you to a higher price. At the same time, you will be able to drive fully electric mode for around 30 miles. So overall, it's a great vehicle. I mean, I really like the new infotainment system. Everything works fast. There is like, I really like how Hyundai went about this vehicle, especially considering that the goal was to not radically change everything, but they're trying to gradually integrate everything they have in different models and makes, like Kia, for example, in Genesis, and bring it down. So some of the features and options available that have trickled down to Hyundai Tucson 2025. So hopefully you like watching this video. If you really liked, please subscribe to this channel. Please help support this channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and yeah, I answering all the comments, and hopefully enjoy watching this video. Again, thanks for watching. See you next time.